Transparency from the Maui Police Department evoked threats of violence towards a government watchdog.
This just before a much-anticipated police commission meeting. Allison Blair reports from Maui.
HNN Investigates sources confirmed that overnight, the head of Common Cause Hawaii received multiple messages that included threats of violence and racial slurs. Those apparent threats could explain why Common Cause Hawaii program manager Cameron Hurt was absent from Wednesday's Maui Police Commission meeting after spearheading a public campaign for transparency. A couple dozen people were in attendance. Many stood in the hall because there was not enough space in the room. Whistleblower Grayson Ibarra was first to testify. The owner of Gray Tech LLC is MPD's former morgue contractor.
The Maui Police Department, an institution meant to uphold the highest ideals of service and protection, has faltered under the weight of absent leadership. The public responses from the Chief's office glosses over critical issues and ignore the very real consequences of the omissions, actions, and inactions, resulting in compounded suffering of those who lost loved ones, leaving families in agonizing limbo and a community traumatized.
Published records along with MPD statements and eyewitness accounts reveal many of the recovery processes and procedures critical to accurately documenting the location of a person's death and keeping those remains separate so they're not lost or confused with other sets of remains weren't followed. HNN Investigates confirmed identification numbers that were supposed to be issued immediately upon a victim's discovery weren't assigned until the remains had moved at least 2 different times. Scene photographs and GPS coordinates weren't obtained in every case, and MPD leadership also admits instances where body bags were not used to move decedents from their final resting place. In addition, emails obtained by HNN Investigates reveal an apparent mix-up in which additional bones from a fire victim were found 3 weeks after MPD had released that man's remains to a mortuary. According to those emails, the newly discovered bones could not be separated from other victims' remains, something family says they were never told.
Why did you wait so long to bring these concerns to the community?
I didn't. I reported on it immediately through proper channels, like I mentioned.
During the after action by the police department?
Correct. Throughout the whole process. Any mishandling reported, like I said, they have all gone ignored.
Did you tell this to the Attorney General's office when they did their after action as well?
I reached out through the Attorney General's office, Lieutenant Governor's office, Maui County Council, many other platforms as well.
I was chair at the time the fires happened, and at no time did I see any communication from you.
Confidentiality as of June 19th or June 17th of this year. That's when my contract was excused out of the convenience clause.
At one point, Commission Chair Stacey Moniz asked,
So you don't feel like you have any role or responsibility in this mishandling of remains if you were right there every step of the way?
By the results, it shows that trying to speak up and correct the wrongs, this is my result.
Testimony brought Commissioner Keikoa Moa to tears.
Why not? You're not bringing justice to people. Why not? You have a problem with him. Take it out with him. You say you're going to have a litigation. Why are you dragging the commission into this?
Ibarra is in the process of filing a civil lawsuit against Maui Police Department. He claims MPD owes him more than $250,000 for work he was never paid for.
They did what they had to do. They never followed protocol. Who has a protocol for 100 people dying and losing a city? What, is there a list where we go, okay, my town got burned, everybody died, what are we gonna do? Follow this protocol. Make sure you get a body bag. Don't use a plastic bag.
There is protocols.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, there is protocol, but not for this event.
There is. There's also training and events that are conducted
Yeah, but what
to make
does
sure
it
we
have
do
to
it right.
do with the people who died? That's your
So
own
their
person.
remains are treated without
I'm sorry, it's just it's bothering me.
Bruce Douglas testified next.
I was very disturbed by the treatment of Grayson by this commission. You know, this commission is here to gather information and not attack an in person who takes a lot of courage to stand forward in front of this commission and share his information. Instead, he was like put down for that information, what he's trying to share, rather than being supported and saying. So it makes me wonder, is this commission here job to defend the police chief or to question what's really going on?
Maui Police Chief John Pelletier commented last.
every single family member was given the remains, and I don't even like to talk about it because it is painful, of what we could identify. If we can't make an identification on this particular piece of a human being, we're not going to make that mistake. And if we have to fact check and we have to go back and we have to retest that we did that.
After the meeting, we waited outside for Chief Pelletier to ask him about documented missteps that so far he's declined to talk about. Instead of facing us directly, he chose to leave through a side door. In Kahului, Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.